On the frozen wastelands of a desolate planet named Krylos, a young alien girl lay on the brink of death. Her skin, pale with a soft iridescent glow, was marred by frostbite. Her fragile frame trembled under the tattered remains of what once might have been a vibrant cloak, now torn and useless against the biting winds. Her almond-shaped eyes, once vivid and full of life, stared blankly at the swirling snowstorm overhead. She was alone, abandoned, with no hope in sight. Krylos was notorious for its harsh environment. The endless expanse of ice and jagged cliffs claimed the lives of many who dared venture there. Yet, the planet's rich deposits of rare minerals kept bringing miners, scientists, and explorers to its unforgiving surface. Among them was Dr. Callum Reid, a seasoned medic with the Earth Interstellar Rescue Corps. Callum had seen his share of suffering and death, but nothing could prepare him for what he found that fateful day. Callum had been surveying the icy terrain in his hovercraft, searching for survivors of a mining accident reported in the region. His scanner picked up a faint life signal, weak and erratic. Intrigued, he adjusted his course and followed the signal to a small crevice between towering ice formations. There, he saw her, a small, alien figure curled up in the snow, barely breathing. He leapt from his hovercraft, the bitter cold stinging his face as he approached her. Callum's heart clenched at the sight. She couldn't have been more than 10 Earth years old in human terms. Her frost-bitten limbs and shallow breath spoke of hours spent in this cruel cold, abandoned to die. Without hesitation, Callum wrapped her in his thermal cloak and carried her back to his hovercraft. The journey to his camp was fraught with tension. The girl's condition was critical. Her pulse was weak, and her skin was icy to the touch. Callum worked tirelessly, administering emergency treatments to stabilize her. He activated the hovercraft's medical AI to assist, infusing her veins with warming agents and nutrients tailored to her alien physiology. Back at the camp, Callum placed her in a regenerative pod designed to heal injuries and restore vitality. For hours, he monitored her progress, his mind racing with questions. Who was she? Why had she been left to die? Krylos was no place for children, let alone one from an alien species unfamiliar to him. Days passed before the girl regained consciousness. Her recovery was slow but steady. When she finally opened her eyes, panic flashed across her face. Callum approached her gently, his hands raised in a universal gesture of peace. "It's okay," he said softly. "You're safe now." She blinked, her luminous eyes filled with uncertainty. Her voice, when she spoke, was faint and melodic, her words unintelligible to Callum. The medic activated his universal translator, hoping to bridge the gap. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice trembling. "My name is Callum," he replied. "I'm here to help you. What's your name?" She hesitated before answering. "Naira." Over the following weeks, Naira began to trust Callum. Through fragmented conversations, he learned that she was the sole survivor of a crash. Her family and others of her kind had perished when their ship malfunctioned and fell into Krylos' treacherous atmosphere. She had wandered the icy plains, clinging to the hope that someone would find her. But when her strength gave out, despair consumed her. "They left me," she said one evening, tears freezing on her cheeks. "I called for them, but they didn't come." Callum placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "You're not alone anymore, Naira. I promise I'll keep you safe." As Naira grew stronger, Callum marveled at her resilience. Despite her traumatic experience, she retained a curious and intelligent spirit. She helped him repair equipment, learning quickly how human technology worked. In turn, Callum taught her about Earth and its diverse inhabitants. Their bond deepened, built on mutual respect and shared survival. But their sanctuary was not to last. Krylos' unpredictable storms grew fiercer, and Callum received orders from the Interstellar Rescue Corps to evacuate. The mining operations were being shut down, and all personnel were to leave the planet. Callum faced a dilemma. Protocol dictated that all alien encounters be reported immediately, but he feared what might happen to Naira if she fell into the wrong hands. Many saw aliens as threats or specimens rather than individuals deserving of compassion. "Naira," Callum said one night, "we have to leave this place. But there are people out there who might not understand. If you come with me, you'll need to stay hidden for a while. Do you trust me?" She nodded without hesitation. "I trust you." Callum smuggled Naira aboard the evacuation transport, hiding her in a secure compartment within his quarters. Once they reached the safety of a distant space station, Callum began working on a plan to ensure Naira's safety. He used his connections within the Rescue Corps to forge documents and create a new identity for her. Officially, she was a refugee from a distant colony devastated by war. For months, they lived on the space station, blending into the diverse population. Naira adapted quickly, her innate intelligence allowing her to navigate this new world. Callum enrolled her in a virtual education program, and she excelled in science and engineering. Despite the challenges, they found a semblance of normalcy. But peace was fleeting. A faction of xenophobic extremists discovered Naira's true origins and sought to expose her. They saw her as a threat, a symbol of the alien invasion they feared. Callum's carefully constructed plans began to unravel as the extremists closed in. In a desperate bid to protect Naira, Callum reached out to an old friend, Captain Ilara Voss, a trusted ally and pilot of a rogue ship that specialized in helping those in need. Ilara agreed to take them aboard and transport them to a remote, uninhabited planet where they could start anew. The journey was perilous, with the extremists pursuing them relentlessly. In the final confrontation, Callum and Naira worked together to disable the attacker's ship. Naira's quick thinking and technical skills proved invaluable, and for the first time, she felt a sense of agency in her fate. When they finally arrived at their new home, a lush, verdant planet far removed from prying eyes, Naira stood in awe of the vibrant ecosystem around her. For the first time since Krylos, she felt warmth on her skin and saw life flourishing in abundance. "This is our new beginning," Callum said, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Here, you're free to be yourself." Years passed, and Naira grew into a confident and skilled young woman. She and Callum built a small community on the planet, welcoming others who sought refuge and peace. Together, they created a haven where humans and aliens could coexist, proving that compassion and understanding could overcome even the deepest divides. One evening, as they watched the twin suns set over their new home, Naira turned to Callum and said, "You saved me when I had no hope. You gave me a second chance. I'll never forget that."